Scarborough here from the Yucatan in Mexico. I want to share a little bit of something I'm working on today and hoping that maybe some of you experienced people with mini split air conditioners have some advice on this. I have that mini split back there. Had it installed last summer when Rebecca and I first came down to start getting things set up here. And I did not have my evacuation equipment and gauges and all that at that time. So I told Rebecca we need to hire a guy to install this that is an air conditioner installer so we get it done right. Well, in that process, we hired an air conditioner installer, but he's really not an air conditioner installer. He's a guy that can hook it up and put it in, open the valves and get it started for you. But what happened was he did not evacuate the lines after he connected that, and so he contaminated the whole system with air in the system. And so we're getting to days now that are, many of the days are over 100 degrees, 105, 108 degrees, and then that thing's just not working very well anymore. And even at night, it's not cooling down very well because the walls are getting too hot and everything. And not being installed properly now is creating some issues. So I've got my evacuator now, I've got my gauges, I bought some refrigerant. So I'm going to discharge this system and recharge it. I brought my recovery equipment and everything, so I've got everything it takes to do it correctly now. And I'm going to discharge this system and recharge it. Hopefully we'll start having a cool room again. We don't hang out here during the day. We're out in the town, we're out in the sanctuary working with people and having meetings and things like that. But it's really nice to have some air conditioning at night to sleep in to help recover for the next day. Our days are really long, and this heat for Minnesotans is obviously a bit difficult, so we're just hoping to get this turned around so we can just get refreshed at night and sleep in some cool air, at least for the nighttime. I'm going to show you the equipment up on the roof, and I will have to paste these videos together little by little. Thank you for watching. Okay, this is my rooftop setup here. I'm going to recover the refrigerant that's currently in this thing and then recharge it. You can see I've got a little can. Here we do things in grams, but this unit is supposed to hold 550 grams of refrigerant plus the lines, is my understanding. And so I'm going to discharge this thing and then load it back up with 550 grams of refrigerant. That can I have is 650, so I should have a little more than enough to do this correctly, counting the line distance, and see if we can get this thing cooling correctly. Today's not too bad, a little bit of cloud, so that's helping, but it's still just really struggling. Okay, so here I am. I've got everything pretty much done. It seems to be working pretty well. I had to do a little research on how to charge this thing. It's a little bit different than doing your standard home air conditioner and what I was used to. So I've set this up with my gauges. I've got a can of refrigerant there. I've got the thing charged, and one thing that was a little bit different is you can see I have the can upside down. When charging a mini split, you do that with a liquid charge versus a vapor charge like the standard home air conditioner. It's my understanding you can wreck a home air conditioner by doing liquid charge unless you just meter that in really slowly. And I still did meter it in pretty slowly. When I did the initial charge before I started it up, I got it up to about 117 psi. And to do that, I just did the valve on my gauge a little bit at a time, put some in, closed it, put some in, closed it, and just did that slowly for a little bit, just kind of metering that in there and letting it start to fill up that compressor and the lines. So now on my interior wall unit, the mini split, the ductless part, I have 80-degree air temperature flowing into the coil, and I have 49 degrees coming out. So I'm just a little bit over 30 degrees drop, so I'm pretty happy with that. I have not seen it with that kind of temperatures since the problems that we've noticed, but before I was probably getting like 70 degrees out with 80 degrees in. But that proves to me that opening up those lines with the air in there, not getting that air out, just contaminated the whole system. And so doing mini splits, I had to do a little bit of research. You can't do your standard superheat charge on that. As far as I know, they do not put a high pressure service port on there. They just put a low pressure. And not sure all the reasons for that, but that's the way it is. And so you have to just charge by suction side. So I did some research of about what to charge it to if it was like 33, 34 degrees Celsius today, and came up with the numbers at 35 degrees Celsius. So it tells me that at 35 degrees Celsius I should see on my gauges on the suction side between 115 to 125 psi on the suction, and I'm right at about 121. Somebody's setting off firecrackers there. So I've got that set up, and it's running really nice, running really cool. And even my son Benjamin is just really happy. He's like, he hadn't seen it operating like this, or hadn't felt it this cool. The unit's only been running for about an hour and a half. Had it off for a few hours, so obviously the room got really warm and really hot. So I'm hoping this fixes the problem. Just proves that you need to do things right. Do it right the first time. Even if it costs some time, it saves time in the end. But it's really hard. Everybody's buying these mini splits here. Air conditioning is kind of a new fad in Mexico. You can buy these everywhere. Little stores on the street, to some air conditioning stores, to go to Sam's Club, Costco, Walmart. We have another store kind of like a super Target called Chedraui. They all sell these. Everybody's buying them, but very few people are installing them correctly. They just don't know. So I've got some guys that want to do some work like this, and I have all the equipment, so we might start up a little thing to help get some guys some work installing mini splits. And we'll charge a few hundred pesos more for the install than the average person does, but we'll do it right. And when you get a hot day, it's still going to be putting out cool air, and we'll explain what the difference is. We'll be true professional air conditioner installers versus just somebody that says they can do it for you, but when they do it, it's not right. It doesn't work when it gets hot. It might work fine on the cool days or the 70-degree days, but we want it to work all the time. And I can rest better if I was to do something for a customer and do it like this. I wouldn't be comfortable like that. I wouldn't want to do a job like that. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that I was doing that to customers. So if we're going to do it, we got to do it right, and learning how to do it on my own place first, and from there we'll move forward and maybe help some guys make some money doing stuff like that here. Thank you for taking time to look at this. I'm open to any suggestions or any thoughts, or from you guys that know stuff about this. I would like to learn more. So thank you for your time. Again, this is John Scarborough, Ted Zietz, Mexico, in the state of the Yucatan. Bye bye. Just one other little note about mini splits. They do not have a standard charge port size. It's a little different than your home air conditioners, so you have to buy a little adapter. Got this for like $3 or $4 to add on my gauge set so that I could connect to the unit. So just one little note on that, that you do have to have